Just going to move my phone. All right, we are underway and recording. So welcome everybody. I am going to start our call. Welcome those that don't know me. My name is Lisa Johnston. I am a community member here in Australia. I'm super excited to bring this week's brand in the spotlight element to you. And before we get started, what I do want to do is I do want to go through our disclaimers because they are important. And if this is your first time joining us for one of our calls, please take a screenshot of this slide here. This gives you all of our disclaimers in detail. And if you haven't read them before, please take a screenshot and read them. I'm not going to use up Scott's time going through that, but what I am going to do is give you an overview. So this is our disclaimer summary. This call may contain forward-looking statements, no earning claims or financial advice. The digital rewards are for utility. DYOR, do your own research. The information provided is for educational purposes, and nodes and blockchain are governed by the distributed governance framework, the DGF. So you may notice my background. This, if you're on early, I did actually explain it, but I do want to say it again. This is a few of us in our Element shirts. Leanne is showing her Element shirt today live on the call. That view right there has the best sunrises you'll ever see. And Scott, I'm just going to quickly get you to say hello, but just say hello before I'm going to intro you, buddy. So I'm not handing over to you yet, but just say hello and show everybody where you're calling in from, because you may, this view here, you may recognize. Off you go.
Yes, appreciate it. And I'm grateful to be here. But yes, I am calling from that exact spot. So that picture that she's was taken right here. And I have the pleasure to be in Kauai at Wright's house to do this call. And so, yeah, I'm just about 5 feet from where that picture was taken. It's been a wonderful week. Going home in a couple of days, going to be really sad about it, but very excited to get back to work.
Thank you, Scott. And that is such a magical spot. Like, I just love this, like even just your feet in the ground, it's just a spiritually uplifting. And I want to say, before I even start to introduce you, the biggest thank you, buddy, because I know that you're dialing in on this call while you're actually on your family vacation. And so thanks very much for joining us. And great day, everybody, and welcome to this Saturday's leadership call. Today's a bit of a milestone for us because, as I've just said, we have got a legend joining us who is not just talking about the future in the mining space. He's actually out there building the infrastructure for it and really feet on the ground, making a massive difference in this space. And many of you, or you may not, and if you don't, I totally recommend that you do, you might recognize our guest from the Discovery Channel's Jungle Gold. It's certainly a series that I would recommend that you go and have a look at, because it really puts a lot of element into context. And really it's where the world saw the raw, high-staking reality of traditional mining industries. But what Scott's doing now is far more significant than anything you would have seen on the screen or seen in that series. As the CEO of Element, Scott Lomu is leading the charge in moving one of the world's oldest and most opaque industries into the light of blockchain. We're moving from speculation into the era of real-world assets, and Scott is here to take us under the hood of the engine of this project to show you and show us how we're bridging the gap between physical resources and digital ownership through ethical sourcing and real-world utility. This is about infrastructure, and with power, and with that power in the next decade of our ecosystem. Scott, we are incredibly grateful to have your vision and your leadership with us today. Thank you so much for being here, and the floor is yours, my friend.
Well, thank you, Lisa. It's an honor to be here. And even though when you asked me to come on, I knew I would be here, I knew that I could not say no, because I appreciate all the support and all the things, all the sacrifices that you guys make. I think about how many of you guys have actually made the journey all the way out here. And you do that because you love and you believe in these projects. You put time and money and effort, heart and soul into supporting what we're trying to do. So if you call, I answer. I don't care if I'm on vacation with the family or what's happening. Our commitment is back to you guys to do everything that we can to make sure that we're seeing these projects through to the end, that we're making a real world difference, not only in the world, in the mining space, but also in your individual lives. And so it's an honor for me to be here, and I'm grateful that I was asked to be here with you guys. And this place is really magical. It is. For those of you guys who have been here, you know that this place has a special feel to it. And specifically with our ecosystem, a lot of great connections have been made on this exact spot. A lot of partnerships, friendships, ideas, so much has come out of it. When we were here in November, we had so many high-level meetings and so many good collaborations between all the different brands. And we understand that it's a lot to take in. Just understanding blockchain, understanding the things that blockchain can do, can be confusing. And with our ecosystem, we're trying to solve a lot of different problems in a lot of different spaces. We're on here with R-Link. What a wonderful product R-Link is. We have Grow with Will and his guys, and Switch and Galvin and Adventure World, and all these amazing things that we have happening. And because there are efficiencies and deficiencies that we can address in a whole bunch of different areas of the world, and blockchain has just made it so much easier for us to address all of these things. And so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And as soon as I do that, so let's share my screen. I'm going to pull up my presentation. Hopefully you guys can see my element slides okay. And so I've met a lot of you, and a lot of you guys, we're one of the earlier brands. Many of you guys know who we are and you know what we do. But I love sharing the message out there because every day new people come in. And this is a message that needs to go to the world. Most people don't understand what's actually happening out in the mining world. They don't understand the problems that exist. And I think we always start with what is the big problem. And I'm not trying to shock people, or I'm not trying to depress people when I show certain images and let people understand what's happening. But without that foundation of a very big problem that needs to be solved, it's hard for people to take action. But I believe once you understand the problem and that there's a real world solution to that problem, and that you can be rewarded for being a part of that solution, people really can get on board with us. And obviously you already saw the disclosure, so I'll skip through that. But our core values are transparency, utility, sustainability, and that sounds pretty generic. So I try to add a real human feel to what our core values are. And so I start off with this, okay? In order to help people to understand what the problem is and that we're all part of the problem, I need to let people understand what it actually takes for us to live the lives that we live today. So I use a cell phone, for example. Why? Because everybody has a cell phone. But when you look into a cell phone and what it takes to actually have it, you realize it takes a massive collaboration between countries and governments, and involved in this are conflict minerals and different components and rare earth minerals. The amount of coordination and amount of work that it takes to have a phone would shock you. But really what's the big shocking part is who is the bottom of that supply chain. And that applies to jewelry as well. When you look at jewelry, you think this is great. I walk into a jewelry store, I buy this beautifully polished, well cut and shined diamond, and I just put it on my finger and I walk out, and that jewelry has meaning, and it's these minerals that last forever. But when you understand and you look into what does it take to actually mine all these components and put it all together, we have to then connect that the bottom of that supply chain looks like this. In many cases, this gold, these diamonds, all the components that are in our phones are mined by children. They're mined by by indentured servants. It's within a system that's corrupt, that's illegal, and that's not all. There's not every mining company is doing it this way, but there's too big of a percentage. Some estimates up to about 30 to 35% of everything that's mined is mined in this way. This image right here that you're looking at is a cobalt mine in the Dominican Republic of the Congo. If you have a cell phone or any sort of rechargeable battery, odds are it came from a mine just like this. There's several big mines. With all likelihood, there are small parts of cobalt that came from this exact site, because this is one of the biggest ones in the world. And so we have to let the world know that there is a crisis happening in the mining world, that the comforts and the luxuries that we have today are being paid for by the marginalized, by those who are being influenced by corrupt government officials, and those who have no other choice but to pull their children out of school and to send them here. And it's mining's dirty little secret. They keep this information out of the scenes, and they just flood you with commercials of beautiful diamonds and new phones, so that you don't ask the questions about where did these products come from. And the mining industry, finally, people are starting to wake up. They're starting to understand what's happening behind the scenes. And so it is our job, first and foremost, of Element to let people understand what the problem is, and to help people realize that you don't just go to the store and pick up a phone and enjoy it. There are consequences that somebody is paying for this. Now, of course, it's not our fault, right? Yes, we contribute to the problem because we buy these things, but we didn't go stick children out in the mines or destroy the environment, because the environmental destruction that's happening in the mining industry is shocking. If you're looking at this picture, everything to the right is just an open pit gold mine. Even to the left, you're starting to see that it's filling in. And if you walked these mines and you walk through these forests, it looks like the surface of the moon. And the reason I know that is because along that road there, you see 3 little villages. The middle village is where I lived. Some of these holes are mine. And I ended up mining in West Africa for about 5 years. And ended up, because of my mining experience, ended up on this show that Lisa talked about, Jungle Gold. And the only reason I show this is because it's proof that the problems I'm talking about are real. All you have to do is go to Hulu or YouTube and watch clips of this show to verify that the problems I'm highlighting are very real. And it's not a hey, look how cool I am, I was on TV. It's not. I use this to show people firsthand what happened and what are the things that are happening in the real world right now. But luckily for us, technology has emerged that allows us to all be a part of the solution. In years past, we would say, well, that's bad. What should I do? Should I write a letter to my congressman? Should I start a petition? What do I do to actually implement these changes? And it took a big effort to try to change some of the things that are happening, some of the bad things happening in the world. But technology has now advanced to a point to where we can make a change just by the tech that's coming. And so the problems we're trying to solve are bad mining practices. We have to eliminate the environmental destruction, the human trafficking, all these horrific things that are happening in the mining world. And also, there's efficiencies, and these efficiencies that we can implement in the mining world help eliminate the bad mining practices. So we can track, if we can track and trace minerals and prove their provenance, prove that they weren't mined by children or at environmental destruction, then we can make these changes. And so the blockchain allows us to verify and ethically source materials. And that's all done on a blockchain. Because you guys all have nodes, you all know what to do. You've all made a financial commitment to be on a blockchain. I'm going to skip these slides. And obviously, many of you have more than one node, but the blockchain allows us to incentivize people to be part of the solution. I think most people would say, yes, I understand these problems exist, but because there's nothing specifically in it for them, they just dismiss it. Now, of course, most of us, we look at these problems and we say, I'm in. You know how many people bought Element nodes just because they understood the problem? They don't really care what's in it for them. But the fact that we can now tokenize and incentivize the world, that now we can really make a dent in these problems. And this is a great quote: tokens are a new way to coordinate humans at scale. And the problem that exists in the mining world is going to take all of us. We have to coordinate humans at scale. And the tokens, the digital rewards, allow us to offer something for everybody to participate. And that is the beauty of blockchain. Not only does it help us to solve problems by creating a trustless verification of the origin of these minerals, but you are now rewarded for being a part of that blockchain. And so it's all really come together in a wonderful way. And sometimes technology just comes along at the perfect time to allow us to solve problems, because these problems have been around for a long time. Now we're able to address that and bring in the masses because of the tokenization and the blockchain. And so we have created products that are on chain. The first thing we had to do was to make sure we had a group large enough to create a big decentralized blockchain. And we've done that. I think we have 3,000 or 4,000 individuals who have element nodes all over the world. I think we're in 42 countries, many thousands, and most people are running multiple nodes. But once we built the infrastructure with this big decentralized system, now we can build products. And the products that we built are specifically designed to solve the problems in the mining world. And we do that primarily with Straya, which is our mining verification. So we're building a mining registry to where anybody who's in the mining business can be on this registry if they are blockchain approved, if their actions that they're taking are blockchain certified, so that if I'm in the business or in the market to buy gold or cobalt, lithium, scandium, I can know if the mine that I'm buying from is blockchain certified. And that certification covers everything. Are they paying a fair wage? Do they have their licenses? Are they doing environmental reclamation? Do they have their permits? It covers all of those things, and we're able to certify the mine at the source. And when you can verify all those actions and then track it from the mine all the way to your finger or to your car, now consumers can buy with confidence, and we can eliminate the people who aren't good actors. Companies can simply choose not to buy from mines that aren't blockchain certified. And then we also create different products with heirlooms. If you have a ring or a watch, you need to have blockchain certification that that individual piece of jewelry or phone was ethically sourced. So our heirlooms can do three things. It can prove provenance or origin. Where did the diamond come from? It can attach ownership between me and my real world asset. So it'll put it on chain. And then our NFTs are unique. We can tell stories with our NFTs. You can upload a video or an audio file talking about this ring and how you proposed to your grandma. So when you pass on that ring, now it has a digital history. Now we can preserve your story forever. And then we've got other products. We have carbon credits. We've already sold out our first carbon credit project, and we're bringing carbon credits on chain. There's so much fraud and inefficiencies in the carbon credit world, but as we tokenize carbon credits, we can make them more valuable, we can make them more trusted, and we can use these carbon credits to help offset the destruction that's happening in the mining world. And then I'll talk about Earth Mobile in just a minute, but these are just a few of our products. And again, Straya, the way it works, it certifies the mine for ESG compliance. It documents ethical extraction standards. But so Straya is where it all begins for us. I won't go into too many details of that, but that's really where the rubber meets the road for us from a product standpoint. This is more on a B2B level. And so really with Element, we have products that are more B2B, but in order to reach the masses, we have to have a B2C at play as well. And I'll get into that in just one second. And of course, this is our NFT. Our NFT is wonderful. We sold out our first 2 mintings. Many of you guys have some of these NFTs. And this is what the NFT looks like. You can see this is Amy's NFT of the watch that her dad gave her. And if you click that YouTube video, you can actually, she made a video that tells the origin, the story, the love that she felt for her dad. And that will always be with her. She can pass that on to her posterity as well. And then now, so let me just go back for a second. So the products that we have are designed to, number one, address a problem. But this heirloom NFT is for more to the masses. We need a product that's inexpensive and that everybody on earth needs. Everybody has at least one thing that they would like to NFT. And we look at that as a way to generate revenue for the company. Some of the things that are important to us on top of solving problems are, can we generate revenue into this company so that the people who have taken the time to get a node, to be involved with us, can have something that's real. They can see that, yes, not only does this blockchain solve problems, but it also is a revenue generating company. And so we're gonna talk a little bit about, so number one, the problems that we solve, the revenues that we generate, and then the token utility. So as we transition now into different revenues, one of the important things to talk about is, what does Element, the company, have? Okay, we have ownership in 6 mines. One of the big mines is Tansrock. We own 2% of this mine, and they're getting preliminary offers in the $1 billion range, which would make Element about $20 million when it sells right now. And I've had Jay on. You guys have been on some of the calls where we've had our partner, the owner of this mine, Jay Peters, on. And it's important for us to own ownership in gold mines because we can have influence on how the materials are sourced, and we can work hand in hand with the government. This mine was gifted to Jay by the Tanzanian government because he had done a lot of humanitarian work. So when we're looking at Element, you have to look at, if I'm looking at a project and I'm trying to compare all the different projects, I first want to know, what's the purpose of the project? And I hope we've made that clear, the problems that we're trying to solve. The second thing I want to know, what are the revenues of the company? What are the things that are going to bring in money to this company? And with our product line that I'll get into a little bit more here in just one second, we have significant revenue potential because we've tested it. We've already sold out our first carbon credit project. We sold out our first 2 NFT projects with the Heirloom NFT, and we have many ways to generate income. And I think one of the things that Rally does really well is show where the revenue comes from. And I think that's why people are genuinely excited about that. And so what we've decided to do is to really focus in on, while never abandoning our vision, mission, and purpose, the problems we're trying to solve, but really to show where revenue comes from with this company and also the token utility. And so we have ownership in this mine that could generate potentially $20 million to the company. And where would that money go? It doesn't go to Scott. It goes back into our company. We can use that for market support. We can use that to build out more products. We can use that to grow. And so all of these things come back, all of these revenues come back into the company to support what we're doing. And so that's why I show the Tansrock deal, because it has the potential to generate significant income for the company that can then be used to grow the company, support the token, and all those other things. And so the revenue streams that we have are from our core products. Offset, which is our carbon credits. Straya, obviously you understand Straya, which is, we don't certify mines for free. We give it to them for free the first year, and then as they renew their NFT, it's a $5,000 to $10,000 renewal fee. So when we have thousands of mines, that's significant income. Our carbon credits, obviously we have, we make a margin on all carbon credits. And then core, what core is that we're tokenizing in-ground assets. Companies are approaching us, asking us to tokenize their in-ground assets. And of course we do that for a fee. And then Alchemies also includes the Heirloom NFT. And we anticipate selling, we're working with jewelry stores so that they include that NFT as an offering on their website. So when we have hundreds of partnerships, there's the potential for us to be selling thousands of these NFTs per day. Of course, in the past, most of our revenue has come from nodes, and we'll continue to always have a revenue stream through nodes. People will always want to be involved with this project. And so nodes, including other NFTs like the Boost NFTs, obviously those will generate revenue, but the mine ownership has the potential to generate significant revenue for us. And we anticipate this deal closing by the end of the year. And so the revenue streams, they are important. It's not our number one objective, but they are very important. And this is just a few revenue streams. But where we want to focus now is, okay, yes, I believe we can generate millions and millions of dollars a year in revenue because we've just been testing, and the products that we put out sell out immediately. So as we grow and we scale, we're going to be in a much better position. However, a token without utility is just a fundraising mechanism. We have to have token utility. When you guys are running nodes and you're accumulating daily rewards into your wallet. The most important thing for you is, okay, now what can I do with this revenue, or sorry, with this token? Can I use this for something? And so we are creating token utility. And there are several reasons why we do this. Number one, you need to be able to do something with that token rather than just sit and wait for it to go up, wait for it to have a value. Now, will this token go up? Probably, if there's enough token utility. And so the token utility part of what we do is critical. So what can you do right now with an element token? You can use it at Osmint or one of our other jewelry partners, or sorry, one of our other gold partners, and you can spend those element tokens. Now, many of you, even some of you on this call, have already bought physical gold and silver directly from us, but we can't keep up with supply. We're sold out. So now we're partnering up with guys like Osmint so that when you use your element token at Oz, you'll get the gold or silver shipped to you, and then we will provide you 5% back of your element as a rebate. We are going to make buying gold and silver using the element token the most inexpensive way for anyone to buy gold because of the rebate. And so when we start taking this to the masses, obviously this is a heavy lift. We're trying to get obviously tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people doing this. And so we have to be ready for it, both with supply and just with logistics. But if you can use your token to buy gold and silver, wonderful. Same thing with jewelry. We have jewelry partners where if you go spend your element token at their jewelry store, we will send you a 5% rebate. One of our partners is 250 Jewelry. He's a good friend of mine. I've known these guys for 25 years, and they're a wonderful partner. And so they custom make jewelry, and so you guys will be able to do this. Obviously, you guys know you can buy nodes with native element right now, and it's the best way to buy a node. If you guys need some element, let's talk so that you can go buy nodes. I know a lot of people are taking full advantage of using the native token to buy nodes. Of course, you can buy carbon credits. A lot of you guys are our subscribers to offsetting your own carbon footprint, and you can do that every month by using the token to offset your own carbon footprint by buying tokenized carbon credits. But one of the big ones we wanted to talk about here is the cell phone NFT. Many of you guys are familiar with PowerPay. PowerPay allows you to pay your power bill every single month with green. We are following in their footsteps and creating a product that'll be out by July 1st that allows you to pay your cell phone bill or offset part of your cell phone bill using ELMT. Now, why are we doing this? Because cell phone bills are part of the problem, or cell phones are part of the problem. And so we're going to figure out how we can flip the script and allow people to use Element to pay their cell phone bill, but also build in some sort of give back. Maybe a percentage of all the tokens will be used to then go and help fix some of the problems that the cell phone industry is causing in the mining world. But the big thing is everybody on Earth has a cell phone. Everybody has a cell phone. And if we get a lot of people going into the market to buy ELMT so that they can then pay their cell phone bill, or if we have a lot of people going into the market to buy ELMT to buy gold and silver, or people going into the market to buy ELMT to buy carbon credits or jewelry, what happens to the token? The laws of supply and demand say that if a lot of people, and I'm not making any earnings claims, so let me be clear about that, but what happens to a token when people keep going into the market to buy it? How many thousands or potentially tens or hundreds of thousands of people buy gold every month? How many millions or tens of millions of people pay their cell phone bill every month? How many tens of millions of people buy jewelry every month? And if they know that using the Element token is the best way to do that, what could happen to the Element token? And so speculation rents attention, utility earns retention. Okay, I want you guys to understand what that means is that any token that's not built on utility is just a speculative thing. Utility earns retention. Utility, if you have many things that you can do with that token, or if there are many people that need that token to buy specific products, that's where we retain customers. If we can keep bringing people back, now, where do they get this token? Well, does Element just create the token? No, the token must be mined by someone who has a node. That is you guys. So if I have a whole bunch of people coming into the market to get this element, I need as much element as I can. I want as many nodes running as possible, because we have the potential, and I believe, and I love my other brands, but Element has the potential more than any other brand to reach the masses through gold purchase, jewelry purchase, paying cell phone bill, and carbon credits. I can't think of another brand that has the potential to reach as many people as Element. Now, keep in mind, I own every other node. Every node in this ecosystem I own, because I love them and I know who the founders are, and these are great men doing great things. I'm looking at Element as a standalone because of the problems we're trying to solve and because of the utility of that token and the need that the masses will shortly have to own the Element token. And so just to prove this, let me show you. So we did a promo on the 16th, and it was, hey, go in, and we wanted people to go in and buy Element. So we did a really good deal. We just said, go buy 1 million tokens, and then I'll give you, go, because when you buy tokens in the open market, you're going to get ERC20 tokens. But to buy a node through Connect, you need native tokens. And so we did a little promo. We said, okay, go out there, buy 1 million tokens, and then we'll swap them. A community member will swap them and give you the 450,000 native that you need to buy a node. And that was a great deal, right? Because they went out and bought 1 million tokens. It probably cost a few $100, right? Costed maybe $300. And then I gave them, and a community member gave them enough tokens to buy a $7,000 node. So why would we give out a $7,000 node for a few $100s? Because I wanted to show everybody that the simple act of going into the market to buy ELMT did wonderful things, and I'll show you. So we gave that to 20 people. 20 people that day went into the market. They sent me their hash that they bought ELMT ERC20 in the market, and then I, within an hour, sent them, or actually within 24 hours, sent them enough Element to buy a node. So they got a $7,000 node for a few $100s. And why did we do that? Because they wanted to show what would happen if just a few people went into the market. So this is what happened. You can see that big spike right there that we went up 30%. That was done by 20 people buying out of the market. 20 people buying out of the market bumped the token up 30%. So now what do you think is going to happen when tens of thousands of people, hold on, I have family returning, so it's getting a little bit loud. Hey, bud. So what happened, we had 20 people go into the market to buy the token, and the token went up 30%. And so this is to prove to people, now what happens when you have hundreds of thousands of people going into the market to buy this token? I'm not making any claims, but this was just to prove what happens. And so I know I'm going long, but just to recap, there are massive problems in the world that the blockchain can solve. You can be rewarded for being a part of that problem. This company, Element United, has the potential and already has significant revenue and ownership. And when you get that token, there is massive utility with that token that influences the price of the coin. And so when we put all these together, and keep in mind, most of the heavy lifting is already done. All of the work is done, the hard part. As far as we've built the products, we have already built the node network, and we're ready to do a massive launch to the world. And most of you guys already know, we've had so many loyal people that we've been able to do really well just within the Connect community. And now it's time to bring the masses on. And we're going to be doing an outreach program. We've got Josh Tapp and his company out of Idaho hired to do a big marketing campaign for us so that we can then take this to the masses. And so remember this, token price is a byproduct of token utility. If your token can't be used for anything, then what is its utility and what's going to affect the token price? Anything that doesn't have proper token utility is just speculation, is just a pump and dump, and the token price should grow on utility. And we have reached into markets that have massive utility. Now, it's not a guarantee that you're all going to be millionaires next week or anything, but we feel like we have enough of great products with, being able to use ELMT with your cell phone, that we can build something truly magical here while solving problems. And so I'm going to come up with a promotion just for you guys in your group. I'll think of something. I'll get with my team this afternoon, and I'm going to come up with something, and I'll communicate directly through you, Lisa. But I love the support that you guys have given this project, and I'm trying to simplify the message. There's a massive problem out there that people don't know about, and you can be rewarded for being a part of the solution. Number two, the revenues generated from the products that we have created for on-chain products is massive, and the utility is incredible. And so if we can do that, and if we can get to the masses and help people understand that what we're building not only solves problems, but has great benefits for you, and has a token that I believe could have the most utility of any token out there, then we're doing something special. These aren't things that we're thinking about doing. These are things that are done. These are things that we've already built. Many of our products are live, and now we're just gearing up to actually get out there and go to the masses. So I'll leave it at that. I know you guys are all busy, and I don't want to take too much of your time, but and it's getting loud in here. And so they were supposed to be at lunch all day, and they all stormed back in. But anyway, so that's what I've got. But at least I'd love to do something where I put together a promo that's just for you guys.
Oh, that would be amazing, Scott. Thank you so much. And as I said before, the biggest thank you for coming in and missing your family lunch to be with us. Like, that's just awesome. Like that. This is what I get with this community, guys, is that, Scott is sharing his time to be here with us to make a real difference. And as he's walking to a quiet space, I want to just take this opportunity to say thank you to Scott for being with us. But we will have a few questions. So if you've got questions, drop them in the comments, in the comment section. And Scott, I'm gonna open up with a question. I've actually got two for you. But Scott, having been in the trenches in the old world of mining industry, where everything it really was high risk and right in your face, right? Like that must have been in itself huge. What was the most profound shift you noticed in how traditional industry leaders respond when they realize blockchain isn't just a trend, but the actual solutions for ethical mine-to-market traceability?
Yeah, the blockchain technology has been the biggest transformational, I think, development in the business world since the internet. Just because they're really so I'll give you a perfect example for that. About 20 years ago, a process called the Kimberley process was implemented because people were freaking out about blood diamonds. A lot of celebrities started realizing that the diamonds that they had were mined out in Sierra Leone at gunpoint. And so there was a big push to really figure out how to get a diamond and verify its origin. And so they came up with this process. There were 82 countries that a UN resolution, and they came up with something called the Kimberley process that supposedly tracks and traces the origin of all diamonds. And they claim that 96% of all diamonds are now ethically sourced because of the Kimberley process. But here's the problem. The Kimberley process is a paper process. It's not on chain. And so if you were to walk into a diamond dealer and ask for their KPC report, most of them won't have it because they say, yes, it's ethical, it's verified through the Kimberley process, but it can't be verified. And once people had the epiphany that blockchain can make sure that all these things are verified, now you can basically tokenize the entire periodic table. You can do anything that's sourced, especially cobalt and some of these things that are going into electric vehicles, and you can, with certainty, verify the origin of where all of these things are coming from. And so, but it's been a heavy lift. Most people didn't understand blockchain. Now, in the business world, it's becoming highly accepted. It's mostly the consumers that don't understand it. So when we say something is blockchain certified, they think, wait, Bitcoin is certifying my gold. People still don't really understand what it is, but a major shift has happened and is still happening to where people are truly understanding the beauty and the efficiency of the blockchain. And so that's probably been the biggest eye opener lately, is that when I was on a plane coming home from Ghana when somebody explained to me what blockchain was. And I didn't really understand it until Wright called me. And he said, "Hey, you're my mining guide. You realize all the good things blockchain can do in the mining world." And I said, "Remind me again what this blockchain thing is." And then once he explained it, he said, so he explained it on a big whiteboard in our office in Sandy and said, "Okay, now that you understand it, what are the problems that this can solve in the mining world?" And it was just a free flow of, it can do this, 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 once I really understood it. And that's what's happening in the world right now, is people are understanding what it can do and how it can make things more transparent, make things more trusted, even though we use the word trustless because there's no need for trust because it's all on chain, but also just make things efficient and easier to, it makes it doing business a lot easier. So that was a great question.
Excellent. And you, I must have telepathically sent you the message about explaining trust and trustless. So
Yeah.
we had a great call with Madsen actually, and he went through all of that and really just having the faith of putting the trust into the fact that the transparency of the blockchain, right? So,
Yes.
so that was perfect. Thank you. One more question for you, Scott, and then I'm going to check out the chat. So if you've got a question for Scott or anything about Element, pop it in the chat. So for leaders on this call who are focused on building legacy and long-term stability, when you look at the engine room of what Element's building, how does the infrastructure fundamentally change the game for families who want to move away from chasing charts and actually start participating in global resource economy? Big question.
That's a great question. So now, are you asking for about that for individuals? Are you saying for people that want to ask that last, say the last part again?
Let me just go to my notes. Apologies.
Yeah. No, that's okay.
So the last part was, how does the infrastructure fundamentally change the game for families who want to move away from chasing charts? So kind of talking a bit about what you were talking about, utility into tokens, right? And actually start participating in the global resource economy with Element.
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about this, is that being involved in Element and running nodes and accumulating the token opens up a lot of opportunities for people. I mean, we've had, I know so many people who have abandoned what they're doing to go all in blockchain because it gives them a lot more freedom. Like when I have a lot of people who got in very early and they have, hundreds of millions of Element. Talking to them and coming up with a plan for them with what to do with the Element and how it's allowed them to really change their entire focus of, because a lot of these guys had normal jobs and normal careers, but getting into the blockchain, and I have several people specifically that I'd love to bring on just to explain what being a node owner and getting involved in this economy has done for them. Maybe I'll bring a couple of them on next time you guys have me on. But listening to them and even with me, I have my whole, everything I thought about, not only on making a living, but once I understood what the blockchain was, there is zero going back. I will never do anything else that's not blockchain related, just because of all of the things that it allows us to do. And it's such an emerging technology right now that people think, oh, well, I missed the bus. People started making money on Bitcoin 10 years ago. Blockchain is so brand new and is so novel that getting into blockchain now and making this your life, you're still one of the early adopters. And so, you haven't missed the bus yet. And I really think that because of the slow adoption of blockchain and just people not really understanding it, all of the opportunity is still right here. And so I would encourage everybody, learn the blockchain as quickly as you can, learn what it can do, identify areas that the blockchain can help. And if you do that, I think you're still in the fraction of a percentage of the people who are going to be able to take advantage of blockchain and of running nodes because you think about all the problems that we're trying to solve with blockchain right now. Think about our ecosystem. There's what, 12 of us? we're doing data, we're doing gaming, we're doing healthcare. But think about all the industries that blockchain is going to fundamentally change. And as we continue to grow as an ecosystem and bring on more brands, this is where you should be. And again, I get excited about it, and I try not to make earnings claims and make people think, oh, they're going to be rich. But I'm telling you, when you look at and think about what the blockchain is going to do for AI, I think, I was listening to a podcast and people were scared going, oh, AI is going to destroy us all. And one of the comments was the blockchain can curtail the bad side of AI by having a consensus mechanism built in so that AI doesn't go off the rails. And so I think anybody that can get into blockchain now, even if it's just part-time, you keep your day job, but eventually I think those who adopt and become part of different blockchain networks are going to be in an incredible position in the years to come.
Boom! Look at that. And just off the back as well of you've got to watch that recording, Scott, by the way, of this morning. I think you'll get more excited about that too, and AI. But Ange asked a great question as well. Where's the best space to purchase Element products from, Scott?
Listen, if you're with Connect, go through Connect. Obviously, we have this wonderful relationship with Connect because Connect has done so much for every brand. And so if you're in Connect and there's a financial incentive for you to send people to Connect, definitely go through Connect. Of course, we have our own website where you can just buy through Element, elementunited.earth. We've paused a few products because we sold out so quickly, like with gold and silver. But if you're involved in Connect in any way, stay with Connect. We love Connect. They've got so many great things going, but obviously, our website, elementunited.earth, you can get things, and you'll see a lot of some of the we'll probably do some interfacing, like when we do the interface with Osmint or with 250 Jewelry, we'll have a link directly from our website to be able to go in, and we'll have some sort of API built so that you can interact directly with Osmint or some of our other partners directly through the website. That may not necessarily be through Connect. So Connect would be for Element products like NFTs or nodes, but anything outside of that, you're going to want to go to our website because we'll have direct links to our partners where you can get the discounts on the gold or the jewelry.
Awesome. And I actually dropped that website in just as you said it. So we timed that perfectly, Scott. And you answered Ange's next question. She was saying she couldn't see gold on the website, but then you answered that.
Yep. We're sold out, but it's coming back. And so, a lot of you guys bought silver from us. And the beautiful thing was, when we minted those silver coins, we bought a few thousand of them. We got them at $21, and that included the minting. Oh no, sorry, the base was 21, and then it went up to like $100. And it was awesome to see all the people who had bought silver from us, 3x already. And so I was doing cartwheels. I was so excited, and a little sad that it didn't keep more for me. But I was excited for you guys that all bought the silver. And so, but because of the rebate that you'll get from using the ELMT token, you guys will be able to realize, we call the rebate kind of a time machine, right? You're going to be able to go back in time and get the price of gold and silver from when it was, previously before the big run happened. And so that 5% rebate, I think, will encourage and incentivize people to make sure that they're using that ELMT token. And as they go in, as the masses go into the market to buy that ELMT token to get that 5% rebate, it's going to do awesome things, we hope, for the Element token. And that was the main reason we wanted. I just said, look, 20 people, you want a node for $300, go buy it from the market. You're going to get bridged ERC20. We will swap it for native, and you're going to get a node, a $7,000 node for a few $100, just to prove to everybody that it just takes a little bit of people buying from the market to make that token go up. And so based on the amount of tokens that are out there, it doesn't take much to move these tokens, right? The amount of tokens, meaning if you were to pull up all the liquidity pools of all the Element tokens that's for sale, it's not much. Like, what is it, 50 million tokens? You could buy that up with, not a lot of money. And then all of a sudden, it's because you have to look at, the sell pressure, how many people are willing to sell tokens, But if you can offset that with utility, more people wanting the token than are willing to sell it, then that's when fun things happen to the token. So that's what we think every token should be. There should be a greater desire for it. Now, if that token were to take off and you guys are sitting on 10 million, great. Go make some money. Like that's, you don't just have to use it to buy products because we're not naive. We understand that people get into these projects because they want that token to go up, even though we can't tell you if it will or how much it'll go to. If it comes time, sell enough tokens to get what you paid back for your nodes, and now you're even, and you still have a bunch of tokens. And so that's what I personally tell friends and family is, or sell some of your native tokens to someone that wants to buy a node, right? And say, hey, look, a node is $7,000 right now, but you only need 450,000 element tokens. You give me 3,000, 4,000, whatever, and then you send them the tokens and you keep the money. The money doesn't even, you're selling our nodes and you're keeping the money. And so I've told people that. I was talking last week to someone that has about 10 million. They're like, hey, what's happening? When's it going to be on base? When's it going to have value? And I'm like, well, your native tokens have value right now. Why wouldn't you just find someone that wants to buy a node, sell them your tokens, your native tokens, and you keep the money, and then they get to go buy a $7,000 node for whatever discount you want to give. And so, I encourage people, if you're in a spot where you're like, look, I bought nodes 3 years ago, I haven't seen any return on them. Well, you've accumulated a lot. And so, the guy's response was, no, I think there's going to be a higher value if I just hold on to them. And I said, there you go. Good for you. That's how I feel. And so, anyway, but the real goal for us is massive token utility in spaces that the masses are involved in, so that we can, have an ecosystem within Element where there's a lot of people going into the market to buy these tokens.
Perfect, Scott. So everybody, quite a few lessons there on arbitraging. You got quite a few lessons on good way of perhaps doing a savings plan outside of the normal fiat system of just going on to like Uniswap or MetaMask and just buying some Element ERC20. There is so much goodness, pardon the pun, but so much gold in what Scott just shared with us.
Now, have any of you on this call? Yeah, have any of you on this call done an arbitrage play? Has anyone sold some of their personal native? That's great. And I love that Right has enabled us to do that, because it allows people, because commissions, you sometimes get paid in native, and it's like, oh, I can't sell it on the open market. So I was really happy that he did that. And I've heard some people like in other brands, like with Rally, who've done really well. I heard of a couple people putting up huge numbers that went into their pocket, and I was just like, great job. Like, I love that there's utility. Yeah, I love it. It's fantastic. So, but don't do it all. I listen. My advice is, if you want to sell some of it, great, but hang on to some of it as well. So,
yeah, exactly. So I'm going to have one more question, because we're almost at the top of the hour, Scott. I want to honor that you are on holidays and your family's back there waiting for you. So Leanne Jones just asked, your jewelry stores that you're aligned with, are you planning any here in Australia?
Yeah, we're going to work with anyone and everyone. And so now I think we've teased a potential partnership with a very large jewelry store. It's actually Right that's doing that. He is a customer of a very, very large jewelry store. And I think he's mentioned it, so I'll mention it. He's still trying to close the Tiffany deal. Once we close that deal, it's going to be easy for us to sign up anyone. So we have relationships right now with 250 Jewelry, with Sierra West, and a few others. But any jewelry store that's interested in, and again, I think any jewelry store would want to do this. Now I will tell you this: we've been hesitant to. Some of the jewelry stores that we've been talking to have said, okay, listen, because there's not a lot of liquidity with the Element token right now, I'm hesitant, because what if I do $1 million worth of jewelry and I receive Element, and then I have to sit on it for too long because they operate on such small margins. And so with some of the jewelry partners, we have agreed to just buy their element back from them up to a certain amount just until there's liquidity. And they want, you know, they want, especially 250, they love the element token. I think they probably keep it all. But some of the, we haven't been able to go to the masses yet, because if we had, you know, 100 jewelry stores who are all doing $1 million a month, and some of them want a sort of like buyback agreement for the first couple months until there's utility. And so once there's utility in the market, everybody will want what we're doing, because we're giving their customer a 5% rebate of our tokens. Who wouldn't take that? Of course, every jewelry store on earth, including everyone in Australia, would say, oh, I'll take your token if you're going to give my customer a rebate. That way, everybody's going to flood in to that particular jewelry store because it's going to be the cheapest place to buy jewelry. So, yes, there's not a jewelry store in America
and with a loyalty program attached to it, built in.
Yeah,
like, really?
exactly.
That's so good.
That's right.
I think Leanne just wet her pants when she said Tiffany, by the way, Scott.
Yeah, we've been working on that one for a long time, and so Right did announce it publicly about a few months ago, so I feel comfortable saying the name. It's not a done deal yet, but he has a good relationship, and he's confident that he can close that deal.
That's amazing, Scott. Well, listen, we're just going to clock over shortly to the top of the hour. I want to honour your time. You are on vacation. Thank you so much for taking time out of your holiday and your family to be with us. And we definitely will be doing this again, buddy. We plan to swing around, and so that's exciting. But let's have conversations on what we can do to support you, whether that's having conversations with local jewelry businesses in Australia, that sort of thing for you, as well as, you know, just the incentive program of what you're going to put together for us. I'll communicate.
I'm going to put a special promotion just for this group. So let me talk to the team. I want to do something awesome for you guys, and I'm glad you recorded it. We know everybody who's on here, and so I'm going to do something really fun for just the 16 of us who are on here, or 18. So
well, look out! See, that's the importance of being on live.
That's right.
Right, like there you go. There it is, right there. Thank you, Scott.
Okay, thank
Appreciate you, buddy. Enjoy Kauai. I know you will. Have a magic time, my friend. Take care.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.